Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you are the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. We welcome you this morning. Gentiles, we welcome you this morning. I know for a majority of the Gentiles that's listening in here, this is probably one of your last mornings. So I want you to know that we welcome you before you get caught up into the heavenly cloud elevator in the sky. So when you do, before you do that, please ensure that you leave all of your life savings to Quest to Unite Africa, because we plan on doing something here, biblically speaking, as according to the word, as according to the scripture. And yes, maybe that's your part to play in it. Hallelujah. Oh, I'm sorry, funny. I gotta be a little facetious early this morning for Q2UA Discussions, because family, I'm gonna tell you this. As you have heard me on my normal broadcasting for Covenant Awakenings, you have seen that there has been a change in the atmosphere. A change in the atmosphere. But before I go on to that, I want to kind of give a little bit of a testimony, because the Most High had put this in my heart to share. Earlier this year, to be honest, I was very comfortable on Covenant Awakenings, doing my broadcast, doing long lives, going to work, having a paycheck that was a steady paycheck, be able to cover my bills, child support, and then some. But then in February and March, when the bank rumblings had begun, I unfortunately had become a casualty of that. But here's the thing, I didn't panic. I gave the Most High praise, I gave him glory, and I said, "Thank you, Father, because I know you're setting something else up." What the Most High had done is that before I had left, he provided enough resources that got the business started, was able to still pay my bills, including child support, and I was good. But as we all have encountered with the Most High, before he gets you to somewhere, he's going to put you through some things. You're going to go through some things. And it was around July, August, especially when things were getting bumpy in the organization, because we had standards to uphold. We're a nonprofit organization. This isn't a ministry, it's a nonprofit organization. It's a charitable foundation, a faith based charitable foundation. And I didn't come on here saying, "Oh, help, 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 help." You know what? I didn't want to even ask anybody for help, because it was my pride. I've always been told, don't ask for help, fix it on your own. Right? The Most High gave you your brain, your mind for a solution. I was always told that. Don't ask people for help because that's seen as beggarly. That's seen as less than. You're asking people for help, and what does that mean? You've wasted an education. That's how I grew up. My family was progressively in education. Grandmother got her bachelor's coming out of the fields of South Carolina, Gifford, right on State Route 321, or actually Route 321. Both her son and daughter got their masters. For me, I said, okay, well, the sky's the limit. I should be able to find a job. I'm working towards my doctorate degree. I'm now in my second year. I'm literally most high willing cruising towards my third year, cruising towards writing my dissertation. And this is lovely because my dissertation is literally on bricks and the challenges that it's doing to westernization every day. Every day. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm not going to be able to get a job. And then I started to get resentment because, the thing is, everybody else was working except for me. Everybody else had a full time job and could contribute except for me. I started to get resentment. And I said, Father, do you just want me to be here? And is this a lesson for me to see something crash and burn? You start to come up with all these thoughts in your head of, Father, why? Because we don't see things play out the way that we want things to play out. Doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It just means that the Most High has a plan in place, and this plan isn't something that you have imagined or aligned in your mind for it to take place. Yeah, you try to plan, you try to forecast. Okay, well, if we get our 501(c)(3 here, then it won't be as bad asking for donations because there's something that could at least pan on out that people can have their tax deductions. And I was trying to go through all the logical steps. And y'all should have seen me 3 4 weeks ago. I was in a state of depression. No, I'm gonna lie, I was in a state of depression. Brother Karras, shake it off. Brother Karras, most sides got you, Brother Karras. Last month, the beginning of last month, I had my bank account shut down. I had my driver's license shut down because I couldn't pay for my obligations. I ran out of money mid-July, and I was trying to carry that on to October or August. trying to find every solution that I can, trying to find every job that I think I could qualify for, and every job I was overqualified for. Changed my name from Karis to Don. Donnelly's my middle name, so I was gonna go by Don. Try to do everything, you know. I was even gonna change my profile picture in LinkedIn to a lighter, brighter me. I was trying to pull out every tricks of the trade. What is your race? I choose not to answer. Just call me Donnie. Oh, my friends do. Glad glad I could meet you, Chuck. But you know what the most I did? He literally had to sit my behind down and he put me in timeout. And as he put me in the timeout, he broke me. He broke me down. And he told me to open up my mouth, fix my mouth, open it up, and let them know you need help. I cried out and I asked for help. And let me tell you, when that happened, that was the most convicting times of my life. Because we live in Babylon, and Babylon says you never ask for help. You never cry out to help. But the word says different. The word says you cry out to help. The word says that you gather amongst your people. See, I had to learn what the word said in the most practical manner possible. And I always said, Father, you're asking me to ask for help amongst your people, and look at the condition, look at the state that we're in. It was jarring for me. Father, I could just get myself a job. You can provide an awesome job for me, and I can do the same thing and still work on Quest Night Africa and still work on planning travel and trips with Brother Mike and get all these things together. Father, you can do all these things. See, I'm trying to plead with the Most High. I'm trying to justify with the Most High. Let me go ahead and get my case heard in the courts of heaven. And you know we have it awesome Elohim when he tells you to shut up, and it's been 3 or 4 days that you're doing this. You know you have an awesome Elohim when your executives and board members are saying, Brother Karras, you have to open up your mouth and you have to do what the Most High told you to do, or else you're going to suffer wrath from him. I said, ooh, oh. I said, you're right, Father. In those executive meetings, I said, just pray for me, family. Pray for me. And this month alone, I began to do something that I wasn't comfortable with. I began to ask for help. See, the asking for help didn't just start with my situation. And let me tell you, with my situation, as soon as I open my mouth, even to right now, the Most High literally turned everything around. I still have some things that I got to get through. I still have some paperwork that I got to file, but the Most High is awesome. It wasn't for my destruction, but it was a process for me to understand I have to think a new way. We all have to start thinking a new way because this world is constantly changing. And we're going to discuss this. See, here's the thing that we don't understand, especially getting out of this captivity. We have to start opening up our mouths and we have to start letting our brothers and sisters know around the world we need help because we do. We need to start letting our brothers and sisters on the continent know we need help. We need you to strong arm these European nations so you can help get us out of here. Because that's what the word says. We're two sticks coming together. Guess what? We need that other stick. And they need us too. But how do we let them know that we need them and that they need us? Well, we got to cry aloud and spare not. Don't spare your feelings. This is a time we have to start crying because we know what's getting ready to happen to these nations. They're broadcasting it. They're getting the dog whistles up for their people. And their people are responding to dog whistles by taking us out every day. Think about the incidents that happened to us. That's not broadcast. Think about it. And then I turned to ask the Most High. I said, "Well, Father, I thank you for what you did for me. Why are we not seeing this with in Quest Unite Africa yet? Why are we not seeing these blessings? Why are we not seeing these turnarounds? Why are we not seeing these doors open? Why are we not seeing these things coming about?" And then the Most High hit me. He said, "Because I'm still preparing you for when you receive." It wasn't a matter of if, it's the matter of when. When things come into place, when things get dropped in our lap, when things get provided to this organization, because it's Him who provides. And He always makes the impossible possible. Last week I was asking for money. We want to know what He did? He put a contact in our lap to get things done that we need to get done for our paperwork. In order for things to get done in a timely manner, you have to come with at least seven figures. For our 501c3 to be pushed in, you got to come with at least seven figures. And then they say that that's the equal opportunity expediting process. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Their equal opportunity expediting process is when you come with a seven-figure donation stream. It ain't equal opportunity nothing. Because here's the catch 22. When you come with that amount of money, you're not ran by a black owned organization. You're not. You could be a black face. How many times have we seen that with Boule? How many times have we seen that with our Divine Nines? How many times have we seen that with organizations that aren't for us? Oh, yeah, they'll be armed to the T in terms of financing. Can the Most High do that for us? Yes. Will He do that for us? No. Because what the Most High intends for us to do is that we have to struggle because we have to build. And we're building from the ground up. It's the struggle that he loves for his people to see. Because why? Because when you toil over things, when you are working over things, when you are moving things, guess what? You start to move a mountain one bucket at a time. And he'll do what? He'll bless the works of our hands. Isn't that what the scriptures say? And that's what he's doing with this organization. We're talking to our people on over there. We're doing needs assessments. And I have to be wary of what I say because I would love to be able to provide for what they're asking for. I would love to be able to say we can do it. But I also have to understand the reality of things. I I can't be overzealous. There are things, there are ideas. I'm literally pitching them on out there, and the Most High's putting people in our way and opening doors. And I'm like, hallelujah, thank you, Father. But we need to have resources to get that done. We were resource heavy and not focused 2, 3 months ago. And then the enemy came into the camp and stole the resources. And now we're focus rich and resource lacking because the Most High is building us up. And you see why the Most High is building us up because now the nations are seeing what's happening on the continent. And if you don't believe me, think about what's happening right now in the United Nations. This very week, these very couple few hours ago, Now, as these nations are wondering what's going on with the continent, they're realizing that they're losing the continent right in front of their very faces, right in front of their very eyes. And I want us to discuss. I have the link on out there for our folks who want to be on the panel. Because there are a lot of things that's really occurring and we don't think it's happening. I'm telling you, the AU is working on our rescue plan and we don't even know it because you want to know why? It'll never be said to us. You can't work on a rescue plan to a people that have been battered. You can't tell people we're going to get ready to rescue you. Oh, 1619, you know where I'm going with this. Hallelujah. Y'all know. I can't put anything past you all. You all understand. So I want to discuss this. I want to discuss it wasn't just the Africa or Guinea, it was a couple of countries. But Guinea seemed to me to be the most profound because that is really your gateway countries to the sub-Saharan continent. Those are your gateway countries. They don't talk about mining operations in the Saharan. They don't talk about forestry in the Saharan. They don't talk about anything else. But they do talk about the sub-Saharan. They do talk about that. So let me go ahead. I want to get this video shown. Fair use. Fair use. Make sure you get the volume on there.
We are neither pro nor anti-American. We are neither pro nor anti-Chinese, nor pro or anti-French, nor pro or anti-Russian, nor pro or anti-Turkish. We are simply pro-African. That is all.
Welcome to Africa at the UN.
We, Africans, are insulted by the boxes, the categories, which sometimes place us under the influence of the Americans, sometimes under that of the British, sometimes the French, Chinese, or the Russians, and even the Turks. We are neither pro nor anti-American. We are neither pro nor anti-Chinese, nor pro or anti-French, nor pro or anti-Russian, nor pro or anti-Turkish. We are simply pro-African. That is all. Placing us under the influence of this or that power is an insult. It is contempt and racism
vis-à-vis d'un continent
towards a
de
continent
plus d'1,3
of
milliard
more than
millions de
1,300,000,000 people.
Il est important dans cette
It is important
prestigieuse et influente assemblée
that in this prestigious and influential assembly, we understand
que
clearly,
l'Afrique des papas
definitively,
La vieille
that
Afrique
the era
est terminée.
of the old Africa is over.
Avec une population
With a
de plus
population
d'1 milliard d'Africains,
of more than 1 billion Africans,
dont environ 70%
around
de jeunes
70%
totalement
of whom
décomplexés.
are
Des jeunes
young
ouverts sur le monde,
young people who are completely
décidés à
free,
prendre en main leur destin.
open-minded, open to the world, and determined to take their destiny into their own hands.
Il est venu le moment de
The
prendre
time
conscience que
has
les
come to realize that the
structures, les règles
structures,
issues de la
the
Seconde Guerre
rules from
mondiale,
the post-war era,
en l'absence de nos États,
established in the absence of our
n'existaient pas
states,
encore,
which did not yet exist at the time, are obsolete.
c'est la fin d'une époque déséquilibrée,
This is the end
injuste,
of an
où nous
unbalanced,
n'avons pas
an
droit
unjust era
au chapitre.
where we had no say in
C'est
the
le
matter.
moment
Africa,
où
ladies
un
and
modèle de
gentlemen,
gouvernance
is suffering from a governance
nous a
model
été
It's everything you wished for. Your site traffic is skyrocketing until this.
imposé.
that has been imposed on it.
Un modèle certes bon
A model that
et
is
efficace pour l'Occident,
certainly
il a conçu
good
au
and
fil de son
effective for the
histoire,
West, which developed it over the course of
mais
its
qui a du
history,
mal à passer
but which is
et à
difficult
s'adapter à
to
notre réalité,
incorporate and adapt to our
coutumes,
realities, our customs,
à notre environnement.
our environment.
Hélas, j'aimerais dire que la greffe n'a
Alas,
pas pris.
I have to say that the graft did not take.
Je sais que lorsque je dis cela,
I know that when I say
de
this,
suite, ils sont nombreux
many
à se
will
dire
immediately
encore un bidas,
say to themselves,
Ils veulent
oh,
tordre le cou
another
à la
warmonger
démocratie.
who wants to wring the neck of
encore
democracy,
un soldat
or another soldier
qui veut imposer
who
sa
wants
dictature.
to impose dictatorship.
Cependant,
However,
de façon très claire,
I want to say very
sans
clearly,
hypocrisie,
without hypocrisy,
sans faux semblant,
without
les yeux
pretense,
dans les yeux,
eye to eye,
nous sommes tous conscients
we're all aware
que ce modèle de démocratie
that this democratic
vous avez
model
si
that you have
insidieusement
so
et
insidiously,
savamment imposé
skillfully imposed on us
après le sommet de la Baule en France.
after the La
Presque
Baule
de
summit
façon
in
religieuse.
France. Something you've been
Il ne
imposing
marche
almost
pas.
religiously. This model does not work.
Les différents indices économiques
Various
et
economic
sociaux sont là
and
pour
social
démontrer
indices demonstrate
ce n'est
this
pas un jugement
plain and
de
clear.
valeur
This is not a value judgment
sur
on
la démocratie en
democracy
elle-même.
itself.
Croyez-moi, bien entendu, c'est un constat,
Believe me, this is just
c'est un bilan.
taking
C'est
stock
plusieurs
of the
décennies
situation.
d'expérimentation
It's a balance sheet over several decades of
ce
chaotic
modèle
experimentation
dans notre environnement.
with this
Une
model
période
in
où
our
il a été
environment. We can make
question
this observation. This was a
que de
period
doutes
full
politiques,
of nothing but political
au
games.
détriment, bien sûr, au détriment
And
de
this, of course, has
l'essentiel,
been to the detriment of what is
est
essential,
l'économie,
namely the
la
economy
transformation de nos matières premières,
and the local
Permettez-moi
processing of our
pousser
natural resources.
l'exercice de vérité un peu plus loin,
Allow me to take this truth exercise a
avec
little
ma
further.
courte mais intense expérience
Through my
la
short
gestion
but
d'un
very
État,
intense
la Guinée,
experience of managing a state,
j'ai mieux
Guinea, I
mesuré
have
à quel
come
point
to better understand the
ce modèle
extent
a surtout
to which this
contribué
model has, above
à
all,
entretenir
contributed to
un
maintaining
système d'exploitation
a system
et
of
de pillage de nos
exploitation
ressources
and
par les
plunder of our resources by others,
autres. Et une corruption très active
and
de nos élites,
a rampant corruption of our
des
elites.
leaders nationaux, à qui on a
National
souvent
leaders
accordé des certificats de
who
démocratie.
have often been granted democratic labels
Et en fonction de leur docilité
based on their acquiescence
ou de leur aptitude
or
à brader les
their
ressources
capacity for
et les
selling
biens de
off
leur
the
peuple,
resources and the property of their people,
ou encore de leur facilité
or
à céder aux
perhaps their ease in
pseudo-recommandations
giving in to the
et
pseudo
injonctions
recommendations and
des
injunctions
grandes puissances.
of the great powers.
Je dois d'ailleurs, dans ce sens,
I must confess in this regard that everything that I am facing goes beyond all imagination. These are the same people who profess democracy, transparency, who denounce poor governance and corruption, who dictate the rules. It is they who, behind the scenes, very discreetly and underhandedly, are increasing pressure to make us cede our national wealth through unconscionable leonine contracts. I understand certain leaders and some of my predecessors who, because they possess certain weaknesses, because they were under pressure, or because they had skeletons in their closet, or particularly because they had a political agenda, gave in to what was being asked of them. I understand them, even if I do not approve. In some cases, I was even reminded that if I had a political agenda, I would be less comfortable carrying out the reforms that my government and I are tackling. One thing is certain. We have but one concern, and that is the well-being of the people and living together.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Brother Michael, shalom.
Shalom, brother. How you doing, Brother Carrots?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, most high willing, hallelujah. Now, here's the thing. That brother from Guinea spilled all the tea.
Yes, he did.
He spilled all that tea. He spilled all the tea.
Did not lose a breath in it. I seen you, Yacoba, all of in there. Like, we're pro-Negro, we pro-African rather. I mean, he just laid it out there, bro. It's happening. I mean, the brothers, the nation, the country, they tired of the way things are going, and they say it's not saying they asking for permission for change.
Mm-hmm.
They took it upon themselves to make this change. This is the reason why they having these coups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he led into it. And I read one of the sisters come in. They said that the brothers in Africa was threatening to leave the United Nations, and they didn't straighten up. But all of them are all connected. They all connected, and so here we are. And then, like what you were saying, is it any coincidence that we started doing what we doing about 6 months ago, and from that time everything just like sped up? Now these brothers they saying this, they saying that. You having a coups. You got other organizations out there besides Quest Unite Africa that's saying the same thing. We're just one of or right now few. Right now it's few, but it's gaining traction. That's one thing we're doing. It's the message rather.
Mm-hmm.
It's gaining traction. When that brother sit up there and just, I'm not drinking the British tea no more. Bring me the African tea where it comes from.
Yep.
Y'all said it's British. No, it's really African tea. He said, this is what's going on. And he just laid it out there. That's all he does. And the thing about it is this. Was he lying?
Exactly.
That's number one question. Was he lying? Whoo. And you know, and it just so we got a lot on our hands, and we ain't even we this I see Q2UA in the very near future. How we come together and things now, cares. I think we will be separated. I seriously believe that. Every last one of us. You go your way, I'm gonna go my way. Not saying as an organization is broke up. We're gonna be so busy trying to take care of the organization that you ain't gonna have time to sit right here and talk. Let me call Mike, see what Mike doing. No, we're gonna be all individually busy for Q2UA. The Reeves, Sister Sharp, Red, all of us is going to eat. The volunteers, all of us is going to be scattered, but still working towards that one goal. We're gonna be. I just see it that way. We're gonna be so busy. Now, the time we get together on our weekly thing, I think those days is about to be numbered. We're gonna try it. We're gonna fight to get together. Hey, this is what we came up with, and this is what we're working on. Because we're gonna be so busy, bro. Just like what you said. The EU, not EU, the African Union is working on privately working on something.
I believe so.
At these organizations.
I believe that's what, in my heart of hearts, that's what I believe. So y'all can take that and say, you know, Brother Karras is crazy and yada yada. Okay, I'll gladly wear that title. But if you see what they're saying, you got to understand they're doing something in the background. They just don't say those things just to say it and make themselves feel good. They're saying it because they're formulating a plan in the background. They're doing that. I believe it with all my heart. Because matter of fact, I've seen, you know, and I've heard things when the government, the military does those sorts of things. And then what ends up happening 6 months later, oh, yep, that I heard about it. But it was this program, or it was this plan, or it was this, you know, particular the compartmentalized, you know, operation per se. That's what they like to call it. And here's the thing, for us, you can't say nothing to us. Because why? Because a lot of our people will be like, I love this place too much. I can't. Even in the midst of Babylon burning, we would hold on to the log or the beam that's on fire. We would. Our people would.
You know what? But
we hope not. But here's the thing: our people would. Because look, think about how our people are. We're about even if at 75% that really know who we are, they literally think that this is our land. Even when it gets invaded. Well, it's our land. We're going to kick them on out. Well, wait a second. Why are we leaving? Wait a second. Why are we coming back to a place? This isn't us. And then you'll be seeing your brothers and sisters. You'll be seeing folks on the continent look just like you. That's just how our people are. That's how you have to treat prisoners of war. That's how you have to treat folks of psychological abuse. We've been psychologically abused. You can't tell the person that's been psychologically abused, hey, I'm going to get you up out of this house of filth, out of this outhouse. But no, they tell me that this outhouse looks good. That's not poop that I'm sleeping on. They told me that that's a pillow. That's not poop that I'm eating. That they told me that's a rare filet mignon. You get what I'm telling you?
Yeah, you're about right. Because when they came up with that E1B1A, you got brothers around there thinking they expert on it. So yeah, if they tell you that's a pillow, they don't believe it. I can see that. Even though I know what you're saying, yeah, it's like Once they tell them this is how it is, boom, they start to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you something, Clarence. The AU, how was that formed?
Oh, I believe the AU was formed in like, I'll have to look it on up, but I think it was
All right.
honestly formed recently in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can put that on in there when it was actually formed. But on the fly, I believe it was 2011. It was formed out of, I'm gonna say the newest version. It's the Organization of African States of, or which was actually the AOS. That was actually formed back in, I believe, the 1960s. But the current AU in its current version was revamped back in like 2011. And that was like shortly after Gaddafi had died. I remember that. Then they had the African Union. It was like, we shouldn't have, European nations taking out, African leaders. I remember that. So I believe the organization was founded in the 60s, but then it was revamped in the back in 2011. So and that was particularly because of Gaddafi. So, you know, so so those were growth pains, and that's the whole thing. Everybody goes through growth pains. We have to, because we have to continue to grow. We have to continue to adapt, and we have to adapt on the fly. It's not a bad thing to adapt. The Most High needs us to adapt to certain conditions. It happens. Think about with Joseph. Joseph had to adapt. He was roaming free with his coat of many colors until his brothers sold him into slavery. He had to adapt. He had to adapt to going, being, out on your own, to being literal a prisoner, to, or chattel, to then being a prisoner, and then to being a ruler of Egypt. We don't like the progression of going through things, but sometimes the Most High has us go through things so we can get things done that He needs us to get done. Okay, yeah, all right. So AU was formed in July 9th, 2002. Yeah, and so and the BRICS was also formed in like 2001. But again,
BRICS was formed when?
BRICS was formed in 2001, and South Africa joined the BRICS in 2011. Yes, but at that time when BRICS was forming up, at that time when BRICS was forming up, then the African Union began to kind of, do a little bit more muscle movement. African Union just was in name only. They were doing, AMISOM. It was like the African mission in Somalia, just little small things in conjunction with the UN. But then after you had the Libya incident, the AU became started to get a little bit more, they tried to get a little bit more teeth. And then when it tried to get a little bit more teeth, then you had, stories from the West, discrediting the African Union, where it's like, oh, well, China built up, the African Union building, and China has all of this spyware and spy technology, because why? They wanted to have people lose confidence in the AU. You already know how that goes. Same thing that we get here. We always get the discredited factor in anything that we do and anything that we thrive to put together outside of, European control. That's just how it goes.
Okay.
So let me bring on Sister New being me. Shalom, Sister New being me.
Shalom. Thank you so much. I was maneuvering, and then I was like, oh, okay. Oh, this is what's going on. Okay, cool. Give thanks. Hi, y'all. I'm not gonna stay too long. I have a long day early in the morning, um, but I just wanted to, yeah, just to back up on a lot of things that has happened today. Today was a very busy day. I'm sure for everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
for the world. I mean, I was driving to work, and I was listening to Gustavo Petro, um, just breaking everything open on democracy now. And I thought, wow, this is pretty interesting. But when I got home from my lunch break, I was like, whoa, I had to take the day off because I had to just tune in to what was going on in Africa. Just very powerful. To be honest, I just want to give thanks for everyone. The reasoning yesterday morning, but I give thanks to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim, because did you guys hear? I don't know which African, I don't know if it was the president of Tanzania or one of the presidents specifically just talking about Haiti and how Guinea is in Guinea-Bissau or one of the Guineas, which is very important to us. When we think of Guinea, when we say um, certain regions, Badagry, certain things are very familiar in our Haitian Creole language that are direct locations in Nigeria and other places, in Guinea, like Guinea Ile. So I was just just gave thanks to the Most High that, ones may not see where I'm coming from because everybody has different missions. You know what I'm saying? That's what ones have to understand. You have your own, like they would say, individual, IEP in the educational world. You have your own individual plan that the Most High has for you, that He needs you to focus. Just like some of y'all may not like me, and I don't really care. I really don't care. You don't pay my bills. You don't pay my mortgage.
Stay on top.
Yeah, I'm just
Stay
saying.
on
But
top
what I'm
of it.
saying is we have to like each other. We have to love the Most High and understand that we all have our own individual missions that He put us on. So I'm not looking at you. Don't be so much looking at me. Just learn. We need to learn from each other. So I just give thanks to the Most High that He put our African brother out there and mentioned it, because this is what I needed to hear. This is what my family needed to hear, that yes, there is African countries thinking about us in the islands too, whether our brothers and sisters here are not thinking about us. So I'm not saying it in a way, but we really need to have more compassion and support each and every one of each other on our own individual missions, even if it's not your mission. Let's support each other while we're in the field right now. The scripture mentions it, and we can't be respecters of each other. We just
Well,
have to be respecters of Yeshua and the law and Yahweh Elohim, and love one another.
so what is
Truly love one another.
okay? All right. Thank you. I'm gonna put you in the back. There is a code of conduct here on these Q2UA Africa discussions. If you can't abide by the code of conduct that I have in the private chat, you're gonna go. We don't have time for this. I give leniency on the Covenant Awakenings channel, but this channel actually has to get some things done. This isn't a channel where we can just play around and then shoot our mouths off and say all the stupid things that we want to say.
Yeah, got things to do.
So I'm
Got
sorry,
things to
she's
do.
going to be banned for quite a while. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for the games, family. I have this. Anybody can come on here. Anybody can go into the StreamYard. And you'll see in the StreamYard in the private chat what the code of conduct is, what I'm expecting. We're talking about our brothers and sisters on the continent and how Q2UA Africa is trying to talk to them, to work with them. We need funding to get this message out.
There you
because
go.
because guess
go.
what? We talk and we have conversations and we have discussions with our brothers and sisters on the continent, with organizations that are on out there. We do that on a weekly basis. We have conversations with folks that are able to provide medical supplies and ship medical supplies. Guess what? We're all facing, everybody is facing challenges in funding. Everyone. Do you think it's by accident? No, it's not by accident. It's designed this way. So while folks are trying to figure out how to buy the next Jordans or the next iPhone 15, we're trying to figure out how we can bring food on over here so we don't starve in the next couple of months. That's the serious concern. That's the serious matter. I'm sorry, this may sound insensitive, but I'm not too much caring about Haiti when people are about to starve here in the United States and elsewhere around the world. We need to make and have avenues of how we can talk to our people, of how our people can help us. They're not just firebombing their own plants just because. They're doing that because they know, well, guess what? If you don't have that much of an input in a lot of these plants, and guess what? You start to lose money. And when you start to lose money, guess what? Things become more expensive. Well, guess what you just did? Well, you're going to go ahead and you're going to consolidate things so you can do what? Keep things cheaper. That's economics 101. If you're coming up here, read the guidelines and accept it. There's an action you have to do. I'm not going to tell you the action because you want to know what that means? That means you didn't read it. We don't have time for the nonsense. We really don't have time for the shenanigans.
Now we just did a lot of that. We just got a lot of that settled yesterday. A lot of that got settled yesterday. We're on a whole different road.
We are.
Not a different road. We're on a stronger road, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
On a stronger road.
Absolutely. Because we want to be able to help with the media and the media focus. And guess what? If you didn't know anything about warfare is all about information. And guess what they've been doing for us? They've been keeping information away from us. And guess guess how they do that? They show you, hey, look at this latest TikTok trend. Look at what's happening with these housewives of such and such city. Look at what's happening with this, rat beef. Who cares? And now all of a sudden, now you hear these white folks talking, well, Russia may not just stop with Ukraine. They actually may invade Europe. Oh, you don't say. Oh, Russia may not just stop with invading Europe. There's a slight chance, right? They always go from slight to bigger. They always they give you kind of that Likert scale, from worst to the best. Greatest chance to least likely. Well, now it's very likely. You know what I'm saying? Look, oh, Russia will never do. Russia said, okay, this is all you got. So what do you think is going to happen here? You're going to lose out on foodstuffs because you want to know why? Because they are positioning themselves for war. Who do you think is going to be the vulnerable population that won't be getting any food? That's us. We're trying to have solutions of how we can have refrigerated foods sent on over here on emergency supplies. How can we get a supply? How can we get a pipeline? And then how can we get it distributed from our local warehouses? Which, yeah, we really don't own a lot of, by the way. So we have to provide those solutions. We have to create those solutions. But we're griping over stupid stuff? We are our own worst enemy. Oh, it's the Gentiles. No, it's us. It's us. All the Gentiles do is just see us knocking ourselves down.
That's what we do. I mean, it was prophesied. Your own trouble will come from your own household. And that's us. That is absolutely us.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you how crazy this is. When we were talking to one of the folks that we're trying to partner with over on the continent, and they simply said this, and this rubbed Mike the wrong way, but it's the truth. He said, "Yeah, I don't mind working with you all." He said, "But when we're talking about these, Israelite groups or these groups that profess, this Hebrew faith," he said, "y'all are one of the worst." Paraphrasing, he said, "Y'all are one of the worst because you come on over here and then everybody just falls apart. Everybody and everything just falls apart." You know what that means? It's a vanity issue. And you see that literally right here on display. Vanity is a killer. It truly is. And I think the Most High that he always has to deal with me. I think the Most High that he always has to break me. Father, if it's my sake, if it's my issue, then break me out of it. I've always said this to our people in the back. If I am the cause, you get rid of me. Unapologetically, you get rid of me. Because I don't play this. This is not a game. This is not play. We don't have that much time here to play around. You see what's happening on the continent. You see what's happening, and they're bold enough to come to New York City and say to people's faces, "Man, your democracy doesn't work. It's wicked." All you're trying to do is just get these wicked behind contracts, these unconscionable contracts. The man just said it. That's the video we just played. You're using deception tactics. You're using strong arm tactics. You're doing all this and you're doing all that. What else can we say? No, I don't think he really means all that. No, we just saw that with Niger. He put the rest of the African nations on blast. If you didn't understand what he just did, he threw a grenade. In the UN General Assembly on the continent. And now all the wicked African leaders that are in bed and that are, quote unquote, selling out their people for quote unquote democracy, he threw the grenade there in the presence of a lot of white folks, in the presence of a lot of Europeaners. How many more coups do you think is going to happen next week? Because
Man,
here's
good
the thing.
night.
Here's the thing. Black folks are listening to this. Africans on the continent are listening to this. You have to go back and you have to listen to his speech because his speech spoke volumes. He literally said they're controlling their own resources again. They're done with the tactics of the West to divide and conquer. They're done with the tactics of the West to exploit people for their resources. That's what he said.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And the thing about it, we got to keep up with it. That's the thing. We got to keep up with this. This is the whole purpose of Q2UA. It's trying to keep up with the events of what the brothers are doing in order for us to be in line when that time comes to be the instrument that Yah uses to move his people about. And we must stay focused. Sister Deborah Yah, she did a show, said, it's time for us to cut people off. It's just getting down to it. Either you go be for doing Yah's will or you're not. If you just come out here just like looking for some nonsense, we're not even trying to entertain it. We're not. We're not trying to entertain that. I mean, bruh, you just said it, Karis. Well, Garth had in the thing, he went, I don't know if he was joking. He said he went to the store and spent $50. He said he went back the next week, it was $150.
I don't doubt it.
That's becoming a norm. That's what I'm looking at. Bruh, about a month ago, I could put $40 in my van. It would go to a half tank. It went to a quarter. I was like, wait a minute, these people are ripping me off. But here in Chicago, that's like $5 a gallon. So, Karis, and I'm not being funny when I say this. So soon as I get in my truck, I put my seatbelt on, look around, then I start my car and I go drive. I don't waste no time on it. I do not waste time because I see now this stuff is real. This stuff is real. We talked about food stuff because it's going to hit, and they're going to. This world is going to use whatever they can use against us and its own people. We're gonna find ourselves saving some of those people. Now we talking about donation. It's for the other people too. And, you know, donation is going to help you also because what we are fighting for is for anyone who supports Q2UA. Period. But more so for the brothers and sisters. Israel will be saved first and then the nation. So this here unnecessary nonsense. Now we don't have time for it. I mean, we almost the 6 months we've been up and running. Man, good night. I'm serious. We went through some things, Karis. We went through some scenarios. But yet and still, y'all seen it fit. Stay where you at. Do what I asked you to do. And it worked, and it's been working out. Maybe not to our liking, but somehow those bills managed to get paid. They managed to get paid. You got to put credit with credit. Put it where it belongs, and that's what God. He owns all of it. He's in control of all of it. You know, and you know, it's we're at this particular time where things have sped up, bro. And I say this again. Earlier this year, we was all talking about, all right, we're gonna see what happens next week. Man, these How y'all is moving the brothers on the continent is blowing my mind. Because if you look at the way the order used to be, when you had brothers over there saying, no, we're gonna do it ourselves. A week or 2 weeks later, maybe a month, that person is dead. That's not so. That is not the case now.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the case. It is not the case. These brothers are not playing. No, there's no. If you're talking about setting up a raid in Niger, you got countries say, all right, you do that, you're gonna be fighting us also. And I ain't gonna lie to you. Let them go in.
Yeah.
So let them go in. Because I'll be sitting down with a bag of popcorn looking at it. Yeah, the brothers are gonna do some things to them, and they just don't know how fast they gonna be. It's gonna be the most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
For Europe. The most embarrassing.
It will be. It will be. And I kind of told the folks, the executives, really how they fight, what their fighting techniques are. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for lack of better words. Because now everything is kind of backfiring on them. And so I look at it as, if you know that you can't go in, if you know that you can't really fight, if you know that you're not going to have the support, then what are you going to do? What do you think Europeans are always good for? What do they always do? Psychological warfare. They're always going to run their mouths. We're going to come. Here we come. We're going to come. Here we come. Family, we've experienced all this. We've gone through all this. We've learned all this. They're going to have this and this report, right? The enemy's going to have this and this report. And what ends up happening? Then they always have to turn back and do what? And try to figure out what's going on in their country, because their country literally fell apart. Do we understand this, family? Their country is about to fall apart, but they have to say this in this report and say this in this report. Isn't that the scriptures? Wasn't there? I believe that is in First Kings. No, excuse me, Second Kings. Where you had all the Arameans, Arameans, the Midianites, the Edomites all together. And then you had a king of Judah just sitting there. He said, Father, thank you. They were ready to go to war. They heard a report and they were turned away. I think it was with Peletier, and then his sons killed him.
I mean, then his sons killed him.
Yeah, his sons killed him. Because why? Because their kingdom was falling apart. When you don't have your resources, right? When the enemy doesn't have their resources, all the enemy's going to do is just continue to get mad and mad and mad. Because why? Because they're trying to shake you. But as they're shaking you, you got to remember, when they die, and as they're dying, they die on their deathbed. They don't die asking for forgiveness. They die talking the biggest crap ever, and then they expire. Remember Job and his wife? His wife said to Job, just curse the Most High and die. That is their mentality. That is their sentiment. They're not going to have a change of heart. This is who they are. This is their nature. This is their DNA. Can a leopard change his stripes? Better look at read Zephaniah chapter 2 and chapter 3, they know what they're in for. Matter of fact, because they have to even invade, you know what they're in for. They don't like to tell you that they actually have to invade. They want to tell you that they're strong, everything is good, right? Nothing to see. This is an embarrassment upon an embarrassment.
I'm looking at all this money that this government is giving Ukraine. I'm like, wow. I mean, when you talk about it going food, if you just take all that money he's been giving Ukraine since last year, that's a lot of money, Carrie.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
because
That's a lot of money.
Because they're filtering out the money here and they're sending it on back because they know where everything's going to start to gravitate towards.
Wow.
Thank you, Sister Carolyn Wesley. Yep, 2 Kings chapter 19. Yep.
It's real now.
Yeah.
I think it's more than somebody because right now they keep on talking about a proxy war. I'm just trying to figure out what's the. I mean, why isn't they just saying we say I ain't gonna say we. They are at war. I mean,
because
you're doing everything.
Because it scares everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It scares everybody. Even when they're at war, they're going to tell you they're not at war. You got to remember, and I was explaining this to the folks yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! I was explaining to them what I see, and I can't really explain it here in the YouTube circles or the YouTube streets, because what I was saying was scaring some folks, because it was like, oh man, yep, I can see that. The whole point of this warfare is to not make it look like warfare. The whole point of this new warfare is to make everything convenient. See, as long as they have their conveniences, guess what? They don't care who takes over. They don't care how they're taken over. Matter of fact, they won't even know if they're taken over. That's all I'm going to say on that one. They won't even know that they had been taken over. All they're going to realize is, oh, I don't think you're in on that conversation, Mike. Yeah.
Oh no, because you just shocking me. I'm like, convenience. So I mean, you mean tell me all this stuff it's a front for them just to haul off saying it's a war, because like what you said, it will scare people. But at the same time, you want to give up this mirage that everything is okay in the United States. I mean, in these states.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
That's the whole point. That is the whole point. The whole point of warfare, especially when you're taking over a country like this, you want to make it as convenient as possible. And this is what I was delving on into. I'm not going to delve into it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine the scenario that if this place were to have been invaded or conquered, what would you do if you're the enemy? Would you want to tell people that this place has been invaded or conquered? Or would you want to make sure that people, are still living a semblance of their day-to-day activities, not knowing? Or guess what? You just lock them on down and they say, hey, look, this is a military action, it's martial law, but we're going to make sure that you still have, your basics in terms of communications with your internet and yada, yada, yada. Remember, Russia and China already have firewalls of how their people communicate. Do you not think that they probably do the same thing with the United States? How come I can't get anything out in Europe? What are you talking about? I can get things out in Europe. I talk to my friend in Europe all the time. And your friend in Europe is probably a chat GPT bot. When I was explaining this, it was starting to scare some people. Please stay in your homes for your safety, as the government has imposed martial law, as we are fighting an enemy abroad, not realizing that everything has been that everything's already taken over.
Right. I'm just looking at.
I was going to deep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to deep. Yeah, and I'm not gonna put that here on YouTube because that will, yeah, that's just not the appropriate audience per se. But yeah, it was sounding, it sounds so fantastical that when you truly think about it, it's really not. They already gave you the dry run in 2030 or 2020. They gave you the dry run. Now think about this, family. Now they have drones, and these drones have been perfected with AI technology. So, it's not to scare people, because to be honest, I look at it as everything will be automated. Everything will be automated. Hey, we have this automated system. If you need stuff, please ensure that you're utilizing the emergency ration system, or the rations. They're probably called some like federal supply system. If you need basics, water, if any type of formula, things of that nature, they'll have it. The reality of this is they don't want them to die off. That's the reality. Because why? Because, and this may sound very negative, especially for our Gentiles, the reality is they want them as their working class. To the spoils, to the victor go the spoils. Hey, we won, so now you're working on cleaning up these machines and making these machines go, or else we turn the machines on you. Why do we need to work on these Centurion machines, these Guardian machines? Oh, they're here for your safety. Right? It's all about messaging. Warfare is messaging. Those that win the messaging campaign win the war, and they do what? They subjugate the population, at least for a couple of decades.
Wow.
And then people start to figure on out, we actually did get conquered. No wonder black folks left. That's how they did it. Oh my goodness. No kidding. Yeah. And then they'll just get it better and better and better at it. How come things are reducing? Oh, well, it's austerity measures because we're still in a state of war. We could laugh, but we could see how this would go, because why? As long as you got internet, you may have limited connectivity, but think about it.
Yeah.
As long as you can get to Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Disney, right? Everybody has this, it's for free. This is part of the federal emergency plan. You need to stay inside your house. Here are some exercises. Here are some things. Here is a mindfulness calendar. Here are some breathing exercises and techniques, especially if you're if you're alone. Hang in there. You'll have emergency government broadcasting. Hey, you're a real patriot because you're hanging in there, especially during these times of uncertainty. Please help us as we continue to fight the war. And then guess what? You would just probably have AI conceived videos and pictures of things that's not true. Oh, Leah, look at how well we're doing in the war. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. Please be a patriot and stay in your homes. All right, I can do that. Yeah, I'm up in the war effort. See, when you feed to a person's vanity, vanity corrupts you all the way. Vanity corrupts you all the way. This is why they wouldn't know what's coming. They wouldn't see what's hitting them. Oh, that I can't believe it. I can't see that. Do you see what the news has been saying? I doubt it. That's what family. You don't have to trust me. I see this going down just like that. Why are we in lockdowns again? Because
Terry, so
war
you
is
believe
over.
it's going to be like a
What's that? Where'd you go?
So like I know Yacoba was talking about on the show. I always thought that they want to kill half. I ain't even 7.5, but this massive depopulation of 2024. I've never seen a video, but they said this guy on this deathbed said, "Hey, there's going to be a massive body count in 2024 or death or something like that." What do you take? I don't want to be going off because off topic. But when you start looking at all these different things and all what they talk about implementing, they talking about a shutdown next month and things of that nature. I'm like, dude, this is a whole lot of stuff to be bombarded with.
Yeah.
And then you talking about then they say, hey, continue with your life. How in the world are you supposed to continue with your life with all this stuff going on? As if there's no concern.
Well, think about this. Think about this, and I see the count going down because I know that was the Gentiles that was probably pretty shaken with that. Because think about this. Think about this. If you have been told, and this is what they're telling folks, right? It's not the fact that people aren't skeptical, with what's going on with the government. It's the fact that, okay, they'll be skeptical as long as, they have their needs met and things are provisioned. Oh, they'll just be skeptical all day long. But, hey, as long as I have my rations here, as long as I have, things really being, flown in and, things are delivered, I still have access to electricity. I still have access to food and water, right? And guess what? Now they can entertain you. Hey, your credit, make sure that you keep your credit and you're doing things, of that nature. If you go outside, that's a demerit. We're keeping everybody safe. If we're keeping you safe, then you need to be, ensuring that safety, right? Stay alive program. Oh, I can see that happening. See, the only thing that I can't see happening to me, I'm just personally seeing it. I don't see a government shutdown happening. I don't see a government shutdown happening. If they do a shutdown, it'll be like, all the other like non-essential services being shut down, but they're going to make sure that they're running, that they're keeping the money going. It will just be all the other things. Well, now we can lean out, folks. But what do you want me to do?
So
You just
no,
sit
why,
there.
why you don't see the government shut down? You think if
I
they
don't-
shut down and the money, it'll go weaker or something?
Well, what can they control? What is it that the U.S. can absolutely control all the time? The dollar. Because the dollar is a fiat currency. It is a fake currency. It's not pegged to anything except for what? Our imaginations. That's why they hate the fact that that BRICS is trying to peg it to gold. It's because of what? Imagination. Imagination. They can print as many dollars as they want to. The problem that they'll have is everything coming in from other countries would be tremendously expensive. It would be mind-blowingly expensive. So what usually comes in from other countries that we deal with every day? Parts, automobile parts, particularly. What are you going to do? Well, you got to limit people from driving. How do you limit people from driving? Everybody has to go on lockdown. Okay, that's what keeps our supply. And then you have what? AI working on drones. You have robots working on drones. Because why? It can be assembled. Things can be assembled very, very quickly. Drones for what? Drones for chattel services. And I do say chattel services because I really, truly mean it. Get back to where you need to get to. We'll deliver it. Your drone is on its way. Your coordinates have been uploaded. They do it with Uber Eats. So you're telling me that they can't do it
What?
with this?
Right.
It's, come on. You have credits to, to get this, to buy that, to get your treadmill, to get your rowing machine. You have credits for, getting new bedding, for getting dishes. Oh man, I wish I could have seen what they look like in store, but I'm just gonna have to, trust that, it's gonna look good, and or if not, I'll just do the policy and make sure that that I have the clearance for the drone to pick it up. It's coming there. It is going there. And we were going deep into that one. We were going deep into that one.
I know you said the numbers dropped down in more like in the Gentiles, but my thing is this on that. All they got to do is go to TikTok and look at the other Gentiles saying how difficult making a living is now. That's all they have to do. I mean, all right, you look at it, he's talking too harsh. All right. Reality hasn't kicked in on that particular person. That's what that boils down to being.
Let me address this. If you would like to join the discussion, there is something you need to read in the private chat. There are private chat guidelines you need to read, and then you need to respond with what you're reading. Please read the discussion and please respond so you are able to be added to the discussion. I'm encouraging everyone, if you would like to come on, please come on. However, in doing so, please read the guidelines. And if you do not comply with the guidelines, you just won't be sitting. Or you can drop out. It's your choice. Because pretty soon, if you don't comply with their guidelines, they'll be having that suicide drone coming to you
Hmm. Yeah,
Stay
man, I tell
in
you,
the house. Well, Mike, it's just going to be good. They're going to have the little public service announcement. Stay in the house. We're fighting war. And
yeah,
well,
like they
how
want you
can
to
I
just sit there
volunteer?
and let TV look nobody. Mm.
Hmm. How can I
Man,
volunteer?
just to get people all psyched up. But you know, one thing I haven't seen,
No, they don't
I
want
have
to
not
have
seen a
people. Mike, remember, they don't want to have people psyched up. They don't. You got to remember that it's the opposite form. Comfort. Comfort is the name of the game. You, I'll die comfortably. If I die, just let me die comfortably. That's the name of the game. That's what they literally have said. Oh, don't tell me that I actually have to think or do something.
But you know, I haven't seen no commercial for the Air Force or joining or Army or nothing. I have not seen not one commercial for that. Not one.
Well, I think when they did have the commercials, Russia was making fun of them. So,
Now I seen the commercial that Russia made for the Ukrainians, giving them a way out. You know,
yeah,
I seen that
that was
one.
pretty sobering. Yeah, that was pretty sobering.
Yeah. I mean, here we are, man. I mean, we're witnessing. They call it global warming. We're witnessing judgment on nations. You know, floods, earthquake. They call it global warming to keep everybody off topic. That's where they want to keep them at. You know, so they call it global warming. Then you have the brothers in Africa saying no more. So it's all about, I'm not going to say using common sense because some people don't. A lot of people do not read the Bible. They just want the Bible. They want they want to hear from the Bible, and that's what the preacher do. He read one scripture, and he preach on that one or two scripture for 2 or 3 hours, just to dance around and things of that nature, but not really truly getting into the root of the heart of the people. And so that's the way I'm seeing it. This world, we're seeing things Yah is showing us, and how we need to react, and if we have to prepare, so be it. Link with different brothers and sisters, so be it. And that's what we're doing. We're trying our best to link with different brothers. We talk with the brothers from Nigeria. And we need to talk a little bit more. Just keep up our progress in what we're trying to do. Talk with the brothers from Tanzania, and then we can get more and more and more. We're going to get stronger and stronger. And then when they start seeing things going bad for us, what do you think they're going to do? Hey, we got to help our brothers and sisters in the States or in the EU, because we got that foundation going on. This is the reason why we don't need no distraction. We didn't know some very frustrating distraction. It is unbelievable. But yet and still continue to press on.
Yeah, well, Mike, they said that they had recruiting commercials. I'm gonna say they probably have the recruiting commercials right now in the fall time frame. But to be honest, I'm gonna tell you this: I didn't see any recruiting commercials, not in the summer one, not in the summertime, and they're probably rehashing a lot of things for fall, because guess what? You could have your recruiting drive. You have people go in September, come in October, November, December. Usually you're already out of boot camp by then. You're training for another 6 months or 3 months. depending on your MOS, and then you're technically quote unquote war ready in 6 months. So I can see that.
But let me pull
I can
something to
see
you,
that
Chris.
happening now.
I know it's gonna hurt your feelings, man, because it's gonna hurt mine too. My son will be 18 in December. You know, if they sit up here and start talking about they got to do, what do they call it, like a mandatory recruitment or something? Is that what they call?
Yeah, a draft.
Where they a draft.
Why did they say Mexico is building the wall to keep what? To keep us out. We won't be going north of the border. They won't be going into Canada. Folks, especially black folks, are going to be trying to get to Mexico. Hola, me llamo Caris. Esta es mi hijo. Esta es mi familia. Esta es mi familia.
Yeah, man. I think we gonna be at odds because over there fighting for Ukraine, where there is a known fact. That's where your Nazis are at. You fighting for people that hate you.
Exactly.
Can you imagine you send this?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think that they would really like how can you put our people on the front line? Especially, let me just say, how can you put black people on the front lines? Because black people will wise up. Wait, who are these Ukrainians again? Wait, they were doing what up until 2022? They what? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, black folks know history of Ukraine like a PhD, like scholars. Oh, they had this person. Oh, they had this Nazi super thoughts. Oh, heck nah. Heck nah. You want me to go there? Sir, I'm refusing a direct order. Sir, do you want to go to Leavenworth? Soldier, do you want to go to Leavenworth? Yes, I do, sir, because I think I'd rather take my chances in Leavenworth than getting shot in the back by them folks. Who feels the same way? We all do. I'm good breaking up some rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like they really did put themselves in a very bad predicament. They really did. They did this. It's the same thing when history looks at it. It's like y'all did this to yourselves. Y'all did this to yourselves. So how are you gonna say that nobody told us? Well, nobody told us. Look, we've been saying that. You may not like that we've been saying it, but it's been the truth. Yeah. Will they try to draft people? I believe absolutely. But I also believe that when they do try to draft us, I believe that that's when we'll start to cry out to the Most High. There's always mechanisms in place. The Most High will always, 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 always bring us to that point. I always look at it like this. We always like to think about things in the context of the physical. Maybe the valley of Jehoshaphat, maybe that decision is a spiritual decision. Maybe that's a spiritual decision. Are you going to cry out for the Most High to help you? Because that was the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat was the cry of the people for the Most High to help. And then when the Most High heard him, he did what? He turned that army away. And he saved them. He rescued his people. Maybe this is it, family. This is just something to consider. Man, Cetro said something yesterday, and that thing had me pondering. I said, oh, he hit the ruach with that one. When he said, hey, you all are in America, but don't be like Hadassah or Esther. When Mordecai came and talked to her and said, look, you're in the decision. You're in the point that you can help, that you can do something. This is Quest Unite Africa. This is the point that we can help. This is our people. This reaches way beyond the Israelite community. This reaches way beyond the Hebrew community. This is a decision where we can help our people on the continent. And he said, in the Most High, this is the word that Esther got. If you choose not to help, you're going to be judged. Because the Most High put you there for a reason. Do you understand that we're put here for a reason? Yes. Yes, we've gone through some things. Yes, we've gone through some struggles. But do you understand that we are here because the Most High put us here for a reason, for a season, to help out our brothers and sisters? This is why we're here. We have a lot of our brothers and sisters that have been blessed tremendously in Babylon, tremendously in this captivity. If they don't want to help, then guess what? Their resources are going to perish with them. It's going to perish with them. What good is to have all this money like Oprah, and then your resources perish with you?
Ain't that something?
I look at her and I'm like, that's the definition of foolishness. Because I can see it, we all can see it. It's going to perish with her.
A lot of them believe they, I mean, they can move their money around all they want and things of that nature.
Oh yeah,
but the vast majority of them.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. But Ninja Firewolf said, yeah, selective service passed a law for daughters, not just the sons. And that is true. That's the truth. My oldest daughter is in that window. My oldest son will be in that window in a few months. It's coming. Sorry, go ahead, brother Mike. Yeah, and again, for those that want to show up, please, you have to read the guidelines. It's in the top of the private chat. Guidelines are located at the top of the private chat. Please read it, and please there's an action you need to take in order to comply. Please read, please take the appropriate action and reply in the private chat in order to be let on to the live stream.
Wait a minute, Terrence. Hold on. I see. I think I see why they're asking you that question. Look at it real quick.
What's that?
It said, I don't want to read it out, but it's the last sentence. I think that's the thing that's kind of confusing.
No, it says, yeah, if you have not read the private chat, yeah, and typed what? 1. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shalom, brother Minister Rick.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just what you were talking about, it's good. Your military analysis and looking at the situations. And my question is this: that kind of struck me with Oprah. I got a whole lot of resources. I don't want to, not go to use. So I'm bringing that to the table. But what I want to ask you about, what about contingency plans? In your military training, I know you had contingency plans. And should we have contingency plans for everything? Take assessment of what resources we do have, because I think I'm a proponent for us cooperating a lot more stateside on the physical things like that. I mean, there are people here in Chicago that can help that we need to get to. I think one of the things that's interesting in dealing with Africa and the people there that you stress that uh, you have to go meet the people. They don't want to deal with you unless they see you in the physical, and you have to let them know you. But then you can start to do things they're not used to doing in the West. Well, I think that's valuable here as well, as much as we can. I know we have geographical distances, but we need to uh, uh, we need to merge our networks here so we can set up contingency plans with people, because ultimately we're going to have to work together in these networks while we wait in Goshen while this judgment's going on. So I would just like you to reply.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Believe it or not, we've been working on that for like the last month. We have our emergency preparedness plans. We have our emergency preparedness groups, and this is what we discuss.
Okay.
We're not, yeah, we're sitting here, we're looking at the whole overall, right? 360 degree, right? We want to see, we're trying to look at the whole picture, because ultimately, yes, it is the Most High that's going to get us up on out of here. But did he not lead the children of Israel out? Did they not walk up
Yes, he
on out of
did.
Egypt?
Yep.
Remember, it said they
Yes,
walked up and out of Egypt. Wait a second. They didn't have any celestial chariots pick them on up. You know what I'm saying? We have to think practicality, and that's what we do. That's what we do. We've already are getting those elements together, those structures together. Now, what we're not going to do, we're not just going to broadcast that all here. That's
Yeah.
not going to be, no. But yeah, we're absolutely. Absolutely. Why not ready? Why not prepare yourself? Because we know what's happening. Look, they say what?
Yeah,
That the fool, they said the fool looks and does not consider the season. The fool looks and doesn't consider the time. That's what the foolish do. We're looking and we're considering everything. We understand, because why? Because we see the Most High's word coming forth. Well, if the Most High's word coming forth, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here. No, that's foolish behavior. That's foolish behavior. We have to be able to understand how we maneuver and how the Most High has allowed us to maneuver. But again, part of being ready, it does come with resources. It does come with resources in order to get things together, in order to get facilities, in order to get products. We're trying to figure out how to, in the event, how can we ship things over to people and places? Where would they consolidate at? Where would they meet at? How do we have a logistics route, a supply chain route that we can get our things in? See, what the Most High will also do, he'll also put people in places and organizations in our way to help us. So, but what we're doing is we're getting what we can get done while we can get done. But it'll be the Most High that puts all the other pieces in play.
I want to get with Brother Michael. Brother Michael, you can just carve out a date so we can go on the Chicago tour, because a lot of things, if something were to happen to me, a lot of linkages between people wouldn't know about that. So I would like to get you together and introduce you to some key people, some key places, and people strategic, it would be key to having resources and moving once we get things going here, so we could have something established on plan wise here. So you can, I'll call you about it, but we need to set out a day where we just go around and visit people and shake the flesh and go and let people know this person, so we can better network here.
Do I need to put my super suit on, man?
Brother Mike, You good here. Your mom, you know how my people roll. I mean, we got you met one person, you met one coon that got in there, but he wasn't really key. But everybody else is pretty much cool. But yeah, you could come on because there's some people that have some. There's some amazing people that have some stuff that are doing some stuff that have some resources that's available only a phone call away, and we can form up just dialing a few digits old school and have put amazing stuff together. And we need to do that. And the people need to see us do that.
Well, I would say, man, shoot, I mean, carve this out for Wednesday, man.
Okay, next
hit
Wednesday.
the ground running.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It don't make sense lollygagging. Come on, go ahead and
Okay,
get it done.
it's a bet. How early can you get started? I mean, you're doing this business over YouTube, but yes, I'll call you.
You usually get all right. You can give me a call. Yeah, you can do it that way.
Yeah, I'm good after about noon, but we need to get it together because I sent Brother Chester some information about some stuff about opening up for our network as far as dealing with the District 6. That piece of equipment that you have can network. We could send something like that to Africa. There's a device I have that you can string Ethernet that will link those devices together. I sent the link to Brother Chester. So, because again, that tricked me what Karis was talking about, because that's a fear. I guess we're not supposed to have fear. I don't want all these recesses just to be nothing here. To be out of it. Like I don't want to be with the situation you talk about with Oprah. I can't see that. I look at all my resources. If they're not working for the kingdom, I mean, when I was in the church, how many souls is this buying? What is it doing? How can I quantify for the kingdom what this is getting me? Because I'm not in that they used to joke us for and no more ministry. I'm good, and I'm not. I think a lot of times have I not been as evangelistic with the awakening as I was with the new birth, because the new birth and coming into relationship with Messiah is very important. But this awakening is that plus knowing what people we are is essential to us. It's the new birth, but it's also the rebirth of us realizing of the original, coming back to our original commission that we have to reach. And just like reaching the Gentiles is, I like the way Karis emphasizes that we're still to be a light to the Gentiles. We can't throw them overboard. We're still a light,
right?
So we still have to do that.
Yeah, I got you on that, bro. Go ahead, Karis. I'm sorry.
No, go. No, this is and you're right. Look, as soon as you have to understand the way that the Gentiles think. As soon as they see trouble, guess what? They're throwing money to anything and anywhere. Facts.
Wait, me say it again,
Anything
Karis.
I said, you got to remember, you have to understand how the mind of the Gentiles work. If the moment that they see trouble, they're throwing their money and their wealth to anything and anywhere that they believe will help them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's when they see, oh man, what these brothers have been saying is the truth. Man, they'll be doing the reverse JG Wentworth. Exactly. That's right. Dennis Johnson. Yeah. It's your money and I need help now. Here's my money and I need help now. These folks will look. Why does it say that they'll be throwing their silver and their gold at us? Why does it say that in the scripture? Because why? Because they understand what's happening. See, it's not a big deal to them right now because they don't know what's going on. They can't see what's going on. They just know, oh, there's some rumblings in the market. There's some financial turmoil. There's some things. There's some this. There's some of that. But as soon as they see something, oh my goodness, Help me. Help. How can I help? Or how can I donate? What do I need? What do I need to do? What? Yeah,
Do I get a Babylon get out free card?
that's what they want to buy. Brother Walter, we'll have you work on that fundraiser. Babylon get out a free card. You remember those old like discount cards that they had back in the day? You could purchase this fundraising discount card.
Well, they dipped him on the price, but Marcus Garvey actually had bought some ships. It was terrible the way the federal government. That's really the start the FBI got was to mess up Garvey. That was their mission number one. So that brother had a Pan African view, and somebody said he actually has some construction equipment in Africa. I had to verify that, but I believe I read that somewhere where he actually had done that.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing. Look, we here as a nonprofit, we're all about critical infrastructure and economic development on the continent. That's what we're all about. That's the official. But we can read between the lines. We can see what's happening. We understand what's happening. But we want to be a bridge and a conduit to working with our brothers and sisters on the continent. They understand what's happening. They can see what's happening. They just can't realize that it's happening in front of their faces. They can't understand why it's happening in front of their very eyes. Wait a second. You all are really believing that you're going to go back to the continent, that you're going to get out of this captivity. Yeah, we're going to get out of this captivity. Well, what does that mean for us? Well, what does the word say? Everybody has a choice. Even Israelites have a choice. Bloodline Israelites, we have a choice too. They're going to vomit us up out of the land because why? Because they're going to be like, Jeremiah 16:19, it's no profit. Get up on out of here because why? You're destroying us. Maybe, just maybe, if we can get you on out of here, maybe the Most High will relent. That's not the choice that the Most High said. Now, we'll take that. We'll leave. But they have a choice to either grab onto the hem or stay here and see what judgment looks like.
The Most High said, "Send the word. This place is going to be uninhabitable."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at what point it gets that word. He said, everybody, these people are going to be beating us out the door. They said the husbandmen, the people who are in this country, they were going to return to their other country. You're going to ask, where is Zion? We're going to ask that question. We're going to know where Zion is then. We're going to be looking for it then.
Well, Brother Richard, I want to pose this to you. I believe that they're already leaving. It's just that you don't want to have everybody go out the gates because why? You want to still make sure that your money is still good. Think about what the Chinese are doing. They're dumping all the treasuries. The only people that had a lot of money in U.S. Treasury, other than the Chinese, are like the Japanese and the EU countries. But the Chinese, they're trying to get on out. Why do you want to get out? Why are they trying to get out so quickly? Because the less you have wrapped up in your finances, the less you have to worry about when you declare war. These are all wartime footings. These are all war functions or pre-war functions, or what we would say in the military, conditions of your road to war. This is your road to war. The road to war has started. It's just that people don't understand that this is the road to war. Preparation is your road to war. We're actually preparing for that war. African nations, when they're talking up and speaking like this, they're preparing for the road to war. Why? Because they're signaling to people, if you're listening to the dog whistles, well, there's spiritual dog whistles coming out from the president of Guinea. They're preparing for war. Everyone's preparing for war except for us as a people. Just here in captivity. I'm just saying. They're buying. Why do you think last year that you couldn't even hardly find any type of rounds for weapons? They had ammo shortages last year. I wonder why. Because they were getting ready for war.
The Gentiles are preparing for what they think is civil war, but I really think they're going to be fighting each other. The Most High has set us up. What we need to do as a people, I think we don't have to just grow together. I think the Most High is putting us in a place where we have to depend on each other, and all these petty divisions that we have among ourselves. We're going to have to work on that and let the Most High sort us out in the wilderness. But we just got to get together. We can't be dividing up. I was pleased, kind of like, I understand the urgency on the line today, where you act against that division that was creeping in there, and you came at that, it not necessarily that person, but that spirit that was in there, because we're going to have to unify with all types of people, with all the camps, and everybody going to have to come together around some other things and let God cleanse us and purge out these differences and let Him get us right. But we need to get together based on as much as we can, be at peace with our brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting together. Remember, everything is. Look, the Most High will literally shout His voice out to the people. He didn't have to do much. What did he? Look, Moses said something, and then the people just repeated what Moses said. Hey, this is going to happen for Passover, and how long did that take? When you read Jubilees, the Most High gave the people literally like a week, and they echoed it in a week. Get ready, get prepared. This is what's going to happen. I believe the same thing will happen. I just believe the Most High, because of our people and their stubbornness, Most High will definitely give us a month. This is what's going to happen. Be prepared. This is what's going to go on. Be prepared. You've seen X, Y, and Z happen. You see this, and this happen. This is what's going on. And guess what? It's not just going to be from one person or one group. It's going to be from across a multitude. And it's not just going to be happening in the Israelite community. It's going to be happening amongst all the believers. Amongst all the believers. See, the stigma that we have is because we know who we are. We know our bloodline. We profess our bloodline. But there are folks that they don't profess the bloodline. They just say, I'm a believer in Yahushua HaMashiach. And that's all I need to know.
I think there are a lot more enlightened people in these churches than we think. I think we get set off by the pastors, and the Most High has told us about these pastors, and He's going to deal with them. But I believe the congregations, the people are a lot more ready than we profess. I know we like to point a lot of time, even joke about, because a lot of the traditions we came out of that had nothing to do with our faith, the true faith, but these traditions that we had taken on from the Gentiles and picked up some of our own traditions. But at the core, where the Messiah is in that relationship, there's a lot more people here that will unite, given when they understand the circumstance. Because this Eurocentric Christianity thing is dead and bankrupt, and our I really think I was surprised the reception I got in a traditional Baptist congregation on hearing this word preached across a person's funeral service. And I mean, they were right there. I mean, it's like the people know they're ready. It's just not being taken to them. I mean, if God puts righteous pastors or people to do this. I think our people are ready. Our people are more ready than their leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that too. I do. I believe that. I think, and especially with this young generation, I think they're, even though they're sitting there listening, it's that listening child that you don't want to take for granted. Because when they grow up, they start, I remember this here, I remember that there. They retain things deeply. And so, no, I can't agree with this or with that. You know, well, why do the scriptures say this or that? They're the ones who have that question in mind, and they asking these pastors and things. Well, why do the Bible say this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I mean, I think they're waking up. It's just in a different way. You know, and they think then they seeing things, and especially when you start seeing religious organization fall. When you start seeing them fall, then now it's gonna be more of a yeah, all righty. I can see that happening with them. Then you go see another one fall, then another. You say, wait a minute. I think these people, these people that call themselves Israel, they was on to something. The Bible, when it's all over said and done, it links back to them.
Mm-hmm.
It always links back to Israel. And it started with Israel and it links back to Israel.
Authenticity travels, and I think that's the main thing in ministry. You just have to be authentic with the people. You know, the young people, especially, you know, because never say a young person, listen, they hear every word you say.
Mm-hmm.
And you step across the line, they will quote you back scripture and verse. But you said so and so and so and so. They know. They just want to see if your actions line up. One young man, he was talking about, and I was really rebuking him, and he recalled the fact, yeah, well, I can believe what you say because when you're out there shooting, you were right out there with us. You know, the thing is, I mean, how does your faith bear up under duress?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to do. I mean, we have to be a light. We have to be ambassadors. And I think that our people, there's a famine for the word. That's
Yes.
the thing. It's a famine out there, and you get the word of these mothers that had lost some of their sons. They was here. There's a sister. She's a mother of a couple of young men I had, and she had just called me up for encouragement and say, "Well, this is really going on." I got to the point I was dreading her calls because she was already calling me when somebody was about killed, but she called this time and said, "No, I just wanted to talk with you. Uh, I'm really going through some things, and I was just able to minister. We have to minister. I mean, we have the truth. We really got to get the people. I guess I know I'm kind of old school on this, but and I'm learning to deal because the disrespect.
And you have to understand, Minister Rick, it's why, because it's organization, right? These organizations, these traditional organizations have been funneled to us. It's not any mistake that the NAACP came out of the church. It's not any mistake that you had the Southern poverty and all these things come out of the church. Because why? Because they've been funneled to us. Now we're having something with Quest to Unite Africa, which is totally generic, totally grassroots. And they're trying to figure out where this is coming from. And we say, no, this is coming from the word. Because why? Because it's the Most High Spirit that has been poured upon his people. And now we're two sticks coming together. You have the diaspora, and then you had the continent. This is what we have. And now, because this thing is going on, now the people that have traditionally benefited from our ignorance, now they're scared. Now they got to go through and they got to ask questions of, well, what about bloodline? And what about this? And what about that? Well, here's the problem. Read what your churches have said. Read what the dumb diverses and the illiquy had stated. They've always known who we were. But I don't want to read that. I'm just too ignorant and I'll just love being ignorant. That's fine. I don't care. Stay in your ignorance. But guess what? You're going to have an actual real life judgment coming down your way. And what happens when you get gathered out in the streets? Because that's what the word says is going to happen to you. What happens when you get shuffled off into these nations in captivity? Because that's what the word says to you. Are you going to say, it's your fault because you didn't let us know? You should have really been harsh with us. You should have really, drilled it into our heads, right? They're going to make all the excuses in the world. No, because if I had been harsh with you, you would have called me, some anti-whatever. You would have labeled me this. You would have labeled me that. So I'm not saying anything to you. I'm talking to our people. Hey, help us on out to do what? So we can prepare. And then when they think that, they're just going to prepare and we're just going to ride their tailcoats.
The mechanisms of their enslavement are being put together.
Bingo.
Even now, and that's the thing. I recall, and historically, when they talked about early in the history of this country, when we were under the Brits, they put the gun control laws in where black people couldn't own guns, and they were putting all these restrictions in and things like that that made it ability to get people enslaved. These things are being put in place now, and what's going to happen is, and this concept of cyber slavery, where you won't be able to step, and it's all lining up the mark of the beast, and these people that are waiting for this temple. And Yeshua said the thing that took him to the cross more than anything else. I mean, they were trumping up charges. When he said he would tear the temple down in 3 days and raise it up. So that was it. They said, you heard, man, is there anything more? And the word says he was speaking of the temple of his body, and these people are looking for, he said, the physical temple of his body, and people are looking for this temple to be in Jerusalem, where the abomination of desolation is going to be in that. That's going to be a human temple too. That's going to be the body, that chip or whatever thing they put in your body. That's going to be the abomination of desolation of the Antichrist in the temple. That's what it is. When they get that in the temple, in your human temple, they're waiting for this thing up in that sandbox over in the Middle East. And I don't think that's going to happen.
So why do you think right now we're seeing the nations, especially on the continent, they're doing what? They're rebuffing the system. They are rebuffing the system. Because why? They see what's happening. Oh, these folks are about to lose control, and now they want us to give in to the ultimate control. If you don't take this chip, it's called you are trying to be undemocratic. If you don't have this in you, it's called you're trying to be this or be all the labels. We get labeled with everything. That's what you saw with the president of Guinea. It doesn't matter what they're going to label, because here's the thing. Ultimately, it's the Most High that wins the battle. And they know that they've lost the fight because it's the Most High that wins the battle. You're seeing a defeated people actually understanding how their defeat is looking to them. How are we coming together at this time that we shouldn't be coming together? How are we speaking at this time that we should never really be speaking?
Like a parasite is being taken off the host, and it's dying.
Well, and exactly, and that's what they're saying. Look, they see these parasites, for lack of better terms, and now they're swatting the bugs that have been doing what? That have been blood sucking, that have been stealing the resources. We're asking for support. You know what I'm saying? We could do it their way and just be like, hey, we're just going to steal resources. We'll go on in there. We'll steal resources just like everybody else. No. We're doing this thing in a righteous manner.
Well, going over there as brothers. That was the experiment, like in Liberia, sent our people over there, and we started doing the same thing the colonizers did,
Absolutely. We sure did. But we have to do it in a different spirit. We have to do it in the spirit that the Most High gave us to deal with our brothers and sisters over there. And let me tell you, they're waiting for us to deal with them in a different spirit. Because you want to know why? Because it's tough. It's difficult. They want to work with us. But again, we have had problems within ourselves. And we have to learn how to police ourselves. We had to learn that. It's hard trying to deal with our brothers and sisters when they're out of when they're going down and straying down the wrong path. Self-correction. We had to learn how to do that. It's nice to have a mission. It's nice to do and work on things that the Most High has us to work on. But the Most High also knew that we have to prune our bushes.
There's an infrastructure that we have to build in our family structures. And one thing I've studied families all my life. I haven't married, but I've been always around families and around people and being able to see as like a third person. I think there's for instance, I gotta look at like Sister Shar. That is a woman of intelligence and wisdom and grace and things like that. To cooperate. We have gotten messed up by the gender benders of Babylon and the people who have honored, and that's what they want to do. They want to define what a man and a woman is. I'm seeing the effects on these children. These children are all over the map. I mean, they have this in these Babylonian schools, what they have told them up about sexuality. Now you see some stuff that just really, and we have to detox a lot of this mess that's in there. I believe that, and it's good to see. I'm so glad that our brothers in Africa are standing strong. They're just trying to raise a standard to get here for this corruption that's over here. That, you know, we're not with this over here, and it's being rammed down our throat, and it's like a lot of it. They got to get us. They bring up a sister that's poster child for this, you know, this stuff a lot of times, and the problem is, well, I mean, chattel slavery. I've said it before.
Well,
You have to.
let's also remember it's not just the sisters that's the poster child. It's also our men that are poster childs for this. Because why? They want to see us. It's not a gender thing. It's a people thing. They want to see the Most High's people as a destroyed people. Because the more that we're destroyed, think about how comfortable they feel when they. I used to see this all the time when I was working. And it would be, a brother that would be, for lack of better terms, very effeminate.
Fabulous.
And, for them, that's great. That's who we want to see. That's what we want to promote. Because why? Because that's the result of a systemic destruction of a people. They don't want to see
Non-threatening.
manly brothers here. They like to see manly women. They like to see masculine women because why? That's the destruction of the people. A messed up role, a messed up cycle. Do you understand? Literally, Russia and China said men need to be men and women need to be women. We're not having any of that mess. And then what ended up happening? Then the people on the continent were like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And what did they do? What did they always try to promote to the West on the continent? Oh, yeah, this particular lifestyle, this agenda. And the funny thing is, in May, it was February, March, when the vice president of the United States went over and tried to, cheerlead the agenda. Do you know that she got shot down in every single country? And then they had laws. They created laws. That was the biggest backlash. Not just to the United States, but also to the West. Now, you're not going to come over here and push the population agenda. And then you just saw that in Redacted. How bad these countries have been depopulated.
Yeah, that Canaanite religion.
Yeah, it's literally they're on the midst of a population collapse. What do you do on a population collapse? You can't do anything with a population collapse. When you have a population collapse, your economy collapses, your people collapses, and guess what? It gets taken over. It's going to naturally just get invaded. What do you
Yeah,
see happening right now at the border? It's just being invaded. Because why? Because whatever they
Hmm.
thought they had in their population, they can't stop it. All
well,
right.
we need those young people coming, immigrants in there. They're looking at that as a saving grace. You cannot have a Ponzi scheme based on your so-called entitlements, or when you're killing your children at the
Well,
abortion clinics. You
well,
have to
remember,
have to have more young people than older people to balance it.
their Ponzi scheme is going to be as good as who believes in a Ponzi scheme, right? That's how their Ponzi scheme has to work. But their Ponzi scheme is falling apart. So what they're just trying to do is they're literally trying to set themselves up as the empowered title class, and then everyone else, because that's what they think. Remember, the American dream is no longer there. They just moved the goalposts, and that goalpost has been moved consistently. They're consistently moving the goalpost. Oh, you can have this for a good life. Oh, you can have that for a good life. Well, you need to now come up with, these particular naming conventions of your title, of your, how you address yourself. Why? Because they're consistently trying to kick us out the picture, and I'm cool with it.
They're going
Thank
back to
you.
feudalism.
Yeah,
It's feudalism.
yeah, I appreciate it because I know that my future isn't here. We know that our future isn't here. Matter of fact, the folks on the continent are trying to tell us your future isn't there in your land of your captivity. They have all the wealth. They have all the resources. And now they're beginning to realize it. With what? With telling it and declaring it in these speeches. We know that we actually run these things. We know that we run this. Stop trying to stop trying to throw shade at us. We know that we run this. Stop trying to prop up these crazy corrupt leaders. We know that we run this. That is, that's that Matrix moment, where at the end of the third Matrix, the 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 eyeglasses get the light, and it starts to break apart the shades, right? The this is what's
This
happening.
this solemn assembly that we have coming up, I really believe, because I'm just looking for a large release of funds, uh, from the Most High, that the things really that are going to come into our hands, because there's a lot of things you could do. I mean, you can use what you have in your hand, and the Most High is going to glorify Himself in whatever happens. But I'm looking for just a release, according. I've been praying with people strongly according to the promises because I mean the financial woes we're going through now. I mean the Most High is
Hmm.
going to do it, but I just want to move faster with the things we have. I believe you set the infrastructure in there and made the place where preparation. You have an infrastructure that can receive these things
Hmm.
and move. I think that can be. It's got to have this. There's something miraculous. We're waiting on the miraculous. It's going to be miraculous.
We are. What always ends up happening, the Most High has what? He builds the infrastructure first. The Most High always builds the infrastructure first, and he always puts and aligns things for what? For us to receive what he is getting ready to pour out. Okay, he never pours out into a cracked vessel, right? If you have a cracked vessel and then you are doing that, you're literally wasting his blessings. He's not a wasteful Elohim. He makes sure that the vessel is in place, that it can hold the water. So why? So we can be able to work how the Most High needs us to work, as a vessel that's clean, as a vessel that can hold, as a vessel that can sustain, because that vessel then becomes useful and productive. That's how this thing works. Brother Rojo, greetings. Welcome to Q2UA Africa Discussions. Unfortunately, this will be your comment, and I'll have to wrap this up for final comments because we got some things that we got to get done in the background. Again, thank you all for your donations. I see them coming in. It's not in vain. It is not in vain, because you want to know why? Because you see what's happening on the continent. Every day something's happening on the continent. Every day. If it's not on the continent, it's talking and pertaining to the continent. It's here. I know, Brother Roach, you're probably having internet issues, connection issues. Can you hear us?
Hello?
He got his mic.
Whoa.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Oh, no.
I hear you.
No, I'm getting feedback on my end. And I'll just try it on another.
No. It just went out. It just went out.
Oh. All right. Oh, no, I just say shalom. I mean, I've been trying to get on, but I've been having fun down there in the chats with everybody. If you can, someone send an email to me and just show me how to do that, because I must be tech goofy this morning. I've been struggling.
What do you mean by
like
for what?
Oh, to get to the guidelines.
No, it's in the private chat. It's in the private chat. It's literally the private chat. The very first thing you see on the private chat.
Oh, I don't have that on my phone. I must have a potato for a phone.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to figure something on out. So,
No,
I just had to make sure that, because this is the very first time that, to be honest with these Q2UA Africa discussions, we've actually kept it on topic. We've kept it on focus. We've discussed what needed to be discussed, for this organization, how this organization is functioning, what it needs to function, and what we would like to do. I can't talk to these folks and say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that, we can provide that. No, I can't. I have to say, okay, thank you. We're going to do the needs assessment, and we're going to see how we can support you.
oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
these are, and this is the thing, because why? Because this organization is donor supported. We don't have I'm going to say, we don't have yet our grants coming through, but we're praying that they're coming through. We don't have our 501c3 coming through yet, but we're praying that it comes through in a miraculous fashion. We're behind look, do you understand? We're literally behind the power curve. They design it like this, so you don't have just a 501c3 coming about. If you have a 501c3 and it's coming about, and they want you to get it about quickly, they already know that you're coming through with money, which means that you're a connected organization. We're not a connected organization. Matter of fact, we're a disconnected organization, comparatively speaking. So the design, the setup is for a design to fail. Oh, well, this is not going to be of the Most High. It's going to fail because look at all of the obstacles and hurdles that they have to go through, which was man-made. These are all the man-made obstacles and hurdles. But guess what? With man, things may seem impossible, but with Yahuwah, all things are possible. And that's what they're afraid of, because we're doing things that shouldn't be done. We're working on things that shouldn't be worked on. We're getting connections with people that we shouldn't be connected to. It doesn't mean that the Most High isn't in this. It just means that when he begins to pour on out, that's when we begin to do things, to do operations in earnest. There are a lot of things we'd love to do right now. There are a lot of things we'd love to ship right now. But we know there's a time of when we have to do it. There's a time frame. Everybody didn't up and leave out of Egypt and say, hey, everybody up, let's go. You go here this day, you go here that day, you go and no. The Most High dictated the time frame. He told them, it's time for you to go. He said, wait on me, and I'll tell you when it's time to go. We're doing this with the Most High's timing. Because why? Because this time is the most excellent. Do you not think that he'll put it on the Gentiles' hearts to give? But he's going to do it in his timing. We just have to work this. We just have to work the effort. It'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's done, and then the Gentiles are given and given and given, then we're going to look at them like, you know, what took him so long? We always naturally do that, but we already know, oh yeah, the Most High put on your hearts to give. Hallelujah. But at that time, guess what? Things will be so fine-tuned. Okay, it goes over to here. It goes over to this project here. It goes over to this program here. It supports this portfolio here. It supports this medical program here. It supports this infrastructure program here. And in this country there. And in this region here. That's how this thing is going to work. That's how the Most High works. He doesn't do things shabby.
The substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen.
Hallelujah.
So we're stretching if we could see it, we're hoping for it. It wouldn't be faith, but that's faith. Faith it is, and he's stretching our faith while our finances are coming to play.
Yes. Yes, because honestly, I believe that it's really not going to be our finances. I thank you for those that's given. I thank you for the support. I know that we all have given. I know what the Most High has placed on your hearts, but I believe it's going to be when they start to deliver. Because why? Because they're going to be the ones that's going to produce the catalyst of sending things over. In my heart of hearts, I truly believe that. We're just building the catalyst. We're building up the infrastructure. We're building up the relationships. But they're going to be the ones that's going to actually supply everything that we're asking for and then some. It's going to be so much upon so much. It's going to be what you have asked for and then some. I think all we have to do is give the Most High praise and just be not be overwhelmed by the amount of what will be given.
The only thing I have to say,
It's crazy.
Hold on to y'all seatbelts. These last 2 months of the year is going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
When you tell them, Roosevelt,
I believe that.
I know. 2 months. I think it's 3 months.
It's going to be in October.
November,
it's going to stop. Yeah, it's going to start October 1st. I honestly think it started now, because here's the thing. Do you not think that they have those UN General Assemblies for a reason? This is what I'm saying, family. Look, don't think it not strange. That's what I'm saying. Think it not strange when you're going to see everything start to go topsy-turvy. And that President of Guinea said it on purpose. Because what was he doing? He was actually giving a warning to the other countries. He was giving a warning to them. Did we not see that? Y'all want to really invade Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso for what? So you could be a puppet of the West?
It's a manifesto.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Like I believe this. It's not a question of if Niger and those countries get invaded. It's going to be a question of when. And I believe what ended up happening, that was really a preemptive oratorical strike that was said. But family, let's go ahead with these
People are not
final
going to stand
comments.
for it.
Let's go ahead with these final comments, family, because I got to get some stuff done. I'm getting emails with activities I got to get taken care of. Hallelujah.
Okay, I'll go first. We're seeing things transpire. Even I'm quite sure the Gentiles see it also. They can get scared because it's something that they're not used to. There's something that's happening that that we might not be used to, but we have always had turmoil throughout our lives, throughout our generation. And y'all seen it fit for us to go through these things. We went through the worst of the worst. And so we, like a lot of brothers and sisters say, stay prayed up, stay encouraged, call your brothers and sisters, see how they doing, and things of that nature, and keep our eyes focused on the real matters at hand. It's not the material things that we're seeing. It's a spiritual thing. This is a spiritual battle.
Yes.
This is a battle between those that are of Yah and those that are of Hashatan. Did he not say in Genesis, I'm going to put enmity between your seed and my seed?
Mm-hmm.
And we seeing that you seeing Yah seed standing up. You see them making outcries. You seeing brothers and sisters say it's time for us to come together. You think that's just something my own doing? No, this is a spiritual. This is a spiritual doing of Yah. Never before have we ever cried so much.
Mm-hmm.
Although in different languages, we're saying the same thing.
Yes.
It's time for us to come together. That's what we're saying. And with that, Brother Karras, I hand it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Brother Mike. Minister Rick, and I'll let Rojo have the last.
I believe the scripture, our forefathers died in faith, hoping to see these days.
Mm-hmm.
And these days, I feel that we've been prepared for such a time as this. And to paraphrase the scriptures, those who know their Elohim shall do exploits in this time. So this is our time, and we're fortunate with all the stress and things going on. This is the time. The tail is becoming the head, and the process, and it's glorious. It's glorious. Just give praise to our Most High through all this thing. We're going to praise Him and call out the world fear that we would find our identity and call out on the Most High. The Messiah said He's not going to come to. We call out for Him, and they fear. They never wanted to know who we are. So we're calling out on the Most High now. Blessed is He that come in the name of the Most High. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Brother Minister Rick. Brother Rojo.
Yes, sir. Okay. I would start out by saying this, that the late great Tina Marie came out with a song. Yes, sort of pseudo paganistic, but work with me. It was a song called I've Been Here Before. And towards the end of the song, she says, thank God that I'm not coming back to this place. Paraphrasing. And I'm thankful that we're not ever returning to this style of punishment ever again, never to be visited. And I will say to the brothers out here, this is just strictly for the men, we got to kind of put a hedge of protection or be ready to react, in the event somebody, does try to come after, Yacoba or Karras or anyone. We do have to be ready to kind of put ourselves out there and be a sacrifice to our brothers because what they're doing is putting a whole hell of a lot of energy, time, and resources into bringing all of us up. So we all have a role we got to play, and if that's to be a security force or a protection mechanism, for these brothers and our sisters as well. I mean, that's something we got to do. Everybody brags about, and I hate to bring up another pagan thing again. Everybody brags about the FOI, and those guys are truly 100. I mean, lately they just been out there just putting on clown shows, but they stand at the ready 100% of the time. And we, as Israel, as the Lions of Judah, we need to be in that same mind and in that same physical state. I land there. Shalom.
Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Rojo. Yep. Simba Wayuda. Simba Wayuda, Lions of Judah. Hallelujah. So
Ben
family,
Elohim.
thank you again for your support. Thank you, family, for what you have contributed and what you are still doing to support Quest Unite Africa. We're living in times that we're praying for. In 2021, 2022, and now look at where we're at. Now see what's going on. This is a blessing. This has truly been a blessing. But the work's not finished yet. Matter of fact, the work is really just beginning. And this is a work that you can then tell your generations. This is what I saw the Most High do, and this is how I helped. This is what was placed on my heart. Because I knew where this thing was going. This wasn't just going to be here in the United States. This was going to span across a continent, across countries, and across a generation or generations. We're building the legacy, family. This is a legacy for our children and children's children. We're doing it here with Quest Unite Africa because Quest Unite Africa it doesn't belong to one man. It doesn't belong to one group. It belongs to the Most High. It belongs to Yahuwah. So again, family, thank you for your support. Thank you for your donations. And I pray that when you donate, that what you donate comes back to you 10, 100, 1,000-fold. Because you're not donating to man, you're donating to the Most High. And he magnifies. He magnifies your offerings, your gifts, through the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah.
Amen.
So family, most high willing, I'll be back on Monday. Monday is our Day of Atonement event. That will be Monday, September 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please visit us at questuniteafrica.org, and we'll be at YouTube at Quest2Unite Africa. Also, if you'd like to volunteer, you can volunteer and you can register for our Sunday meetings. Our Sunday meetings are at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have any questions, concerns, if you want to listen and find out what we're doing throughout the week, please visit us at that time. It's through a Teams link. That Teams link will be sent, it be shared, and it gives you access to the 11 a.m. meeting. Again, thank you for all of our volunteers, all of our directors, all of our folks that help us in getting this mission accomplished. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. And we're not diminishing. We're only going forward. We're only building better. We're only getting stronger. Because the Most High is paving the way. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.